Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We have some massive news today. If you like this news, please smash that like button. This article is titled Ripple Partners with National Bank of Georgia to Digitize Economy. There's so much things happening right now. I mean, this is an insane time period to be living through. The buildup is extreme. We'll see what it all amounts to, but it begins here. Ripple continues to deepen its CBDC collaboration with the Republic of Georgia by exploring ways to digitize the local economy. And I was talking about this. I told you CBDCs were a gateway. I said they were a gateway to the local towns, and that's where the real money is. You ingrain yourself in the localities. Then everything moves through you. Then there's a consistency of value at some point, and look, let's extrapolate from Georgia. Obviously, if they're doing this with Georgia, there must be a plan for other places to have systems implemented like this, where Ripple becomes an integral part of all of their financial systems, right? I mean, I'm assuming here. We're going to get deeper into the article. I'll read the rest. But let's say Ripple actually accomplishes that mission and becomes an integral part of a variety of countries' financial systems, and there's a consistent value, higher value, flowing through the XRPL and XRP. What does it do to the price of XRP? So anyway, we'll continue on here. It says major cryptocurrency firm Ripple is deepening ties with the Republic of Georgia by exploring ways to digitize the local economy with the National Bank of Georgia, NBG. Nadia Turnava, acting governor of the NBG, and Varlam Ebenoids, my apologies if I mispronounced that, have met with Ripple executive James Wallace to enhance cooperation in financial technology and digitization. It says the Georgian Central Bank officially announced the meeting in a LinkedIn post on June the 8th. And that's why it was so important, in my opinion, for Ripple to get in deep with all of these central banks. And I've said this before also. When they get in deep with the central banks will filter out whatever technology they're using. They will press upon the lesser banks and force them a lot of times to utilize similar technology. Which means that when you're hearing about a central bank, it's not really one bank. You're hearing about a bunch of other banks that are going to fall in line with what the central bank wants. Now, can they have customized systems? Yes. But what they're probably going to recommend more times than not is a customized XRPL or Ripple-based system. And Ripple will say, no problem. Sure, we'll customize that for you. I mean, the potentiality is through the roof right now. One big announcement after another. I don't know what more people could want. This is the Georgian Central Bank. Besides, when that flip of the switch moment occurs, for lack of a better word, the Georgian Central Bank officially announced the meeting in a LinkedIn post on June the 8th. At the meeting, Wallace, who serves at Ripple as vice president of central bank engagements, introduced the Georgian officials to Alastair Brown, a representative of Ripple's partner EPAM Systems. Quote, it was an honor to be back in Tbilisi. Oh my goodness, you can see that I'm still trying to get a little bit better. My mind is like, oh my goodness, but I need to put in work. All right, I need to put in work. Anyway, I'm going to skip that word. It says, and to introduce Alastair Brown from our partner EPAM Systems to NBG acting governor Nadia Turnava, unquote, Wallace said. EPAM, headquartered in Newtown, Pennsylvania, specializes in software engineering services, digital platform engineering, and digital product design. The name EPAM, quote unquote, is an acronym for, quote, effective programming for America, unquote. Okay, so I'll say this to bring a little bit more clarity. Sometimes I don't sleep well at all. I don't get good sleep. And I know some people are going to say, oh, well, take some melatonin, take some rhodiola. I do use certain things sometimes to get some sleep. That's not the problem. Even when I sleep, sometimes I don't sleep well. I have tons and tons of nightmares. And so then that causes me not to want to sleep. right? And for certain reasons, I have tons and tons and tons of nightmares. But anyway, I won't go too deep into that. But so it makes it very hard to sleep. I wake up a lot in the middle of the night. And so the last like week over, it was really bad for me. And so I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. And so what happens is when I start getting that lack of sleep because I'm going through certain things, then my mind starts to kind of grind to a halt. Now, basic information like this, like that has to do with Ripple and XRP, I can talk about that a little bit because I already have a lot of information pre-programmed into my mind. But what happens is fresh information, that's where I start to get a little bit of a problem. Once my mind is completely exhausted. And once again, for similar reasons, that's why I like to work, to keep my mind busy, right? Put things together. I did get a little bit of rest yesterday, not a little bit. I got more rest yesterday into today than I have in a long time. So I'm feeling a little bit better. I was like, okay, let's just try the video out. Cause like I said, I need to keep my mind busy. And I will get some more rest tonight, and I'm doing my best to accomplish that. I mean, I'm making it sound simple, but so anyway, so that's that. So I just figured I'd bring a little clarity. Okay. So anyway, so now, this next section is titled Collaboration Builds on Existing Partnership. So once again, we're seeing proof that where the bank coins are beginning is not the ending. They are expanding. Expect them to expand. We've seen it now. We're seeing it now in Georgia, but we also seen it in with Wisdom Tree and Stellar. Wisdom Tree claims that they're going to expand the use of Stellar. That's what one of their representatives said. We have to actually wait and see that, people can say a lot of things there, but doing is different. So, we'll observe that. But we did see expansion of the relationship with Stellar and the Bank for International Settlement. So that was good also. They started off with just a lot of their contests and BIS praising them testing the technologies, and then they issued their green bond on it. So that was interesting also. We saw with Algorand in Italy, they had a bunch of small tests going on in Italy, and then Italy banks adopted a lot of Algorand systems, which hopefully in the future they're going to roll out heavily and pump a lot of capital through heavily. We shall see. So now it says, according to the official statement from the NBG, the discussion focused on exploring potential avenues for collaboration in digitalizing the Georgian economy. The new collaboration builds on the previous partnership between the NBG and Ripple, where the latter serves as the technological partner for the NBG's pilot CBDC project called the Digital Lari. As previously reported, the NBG announced plans to advance CBDC research in September 2023, inviting 9 companies, including Ripple Labs, to participate in the Digital Lari project. Subsequently, the financial regulator selected Ripple Labs as the official technology partner for developing the Digital Lari. All right. It says Georgia Central Bank isn't the only global central bank cooperating with Ripple on CBDC development and related integrations. Exactly. It's getting deep, folks. In addition to Georgia, Ripple Labs has also been involved in CBDC pilots in nations such as Colombia, Bhutan, Palau, Montenegro, amongst others. And I expect Colombia to continue. I don't know what their growth is right now, but Colombia is hot right now as far as people going there and wanting to live there. I've heard a lot about Colombia. I have a lot of people that I love that have their families came from Colombia. Showed me a lot of love throughout my life. So shout out to Colombia. All right. It says in late 2023, Ripple doubled down on its public support for the global CBDC development in a 23-page white paper. Quote, CBDCs are needed to support the most significant positive impacts of asset tokenization and increasingly targeted mechanism for transforming tangible assets into digital tokens stored on the blockchain, unquote, the firm wrote. All right, so now we're going to move on here. Let me say also about keeping one's mind busy. It's a technique that I use, right? So along with like having a lot of nightmares and stuff like that, obviously there's a lot of thoughts that I don't want to be thinking about, right? From like things that I've endured throughout life. And if my mind is left to its own devices, then I will start to analyze those things, and those things would not be good for me. So I try to keep my mind busy by researching and, looking into information and just keeping my mind occupied. You know what I mean? I mean, we all go through tough things. We all go through tough things in life. I'm just saying, if someone else needs to use that technique, you've been through a lot of tough times in your life, stuff that has affected you. And so you're having flashbacks or something like that, or you can't sleep, sometimes it can help. This is not advice. It's not advice, but I just feel like if anyone else is going through certain things, maybe this might help them, if they hear a technique. So anyway, sometimes it helps to research. You keep your mind occupied that way, or read books. I read a lot of books, and you keep your mind occupied that way. And so we're sort of redirecting our energies, and, that's the most I could say about that, and I just hope that everybody has peace out there. And, that's the most I could say about it. That's the most I could say about that. All right. So now, this article here is titled Ripple Eyes Institutional Market with USD backed stablecoin. All right. So now Ripple is poised to launch a US dollar backed stablecoin aiming to enhance liquidity and expand utility across its XRP Ledger and Ethereum platforms. Reese Merrick, Ripple's Middle East and Africa managing director, confirmed this strategic move despite ongoing legal battles with the SEC. This stablecoin promises to bolster Ripple's offerings in regulated markets and foster a more robust infrastructure for both institutional and decentralized finance. Okay, all right. This launch marks a significant milestone for Ripple, representing its latest effort to bridge the gap between traditional financial systems and the evolving digital currency space. By deploying the stablecoin on both the XRP Ledger and Ethereum, Ripple seeks to improve its existing payment solutions and attract businesses seeking compliant entry points into crypto. The introduction of the stablecoin goes beyond expanding Ripple's infrastructure. It also is a response to the expanding stablecoin market. Listen, I'm gonna tell you my thoughts on this. I think that this is just a gateway to XRP. I do. I think it's a gateway to XRP. And I look at this and I shake my head and say, Ripple, who are you fooling? Okay, so they lure some of these traditional people in with the stablecoin, right? Obviously, in their brochures, they probably are going to mention XRP also. The people will look at XRP. If XRP price starts to explode in the future, they're going to be interested. Not only that, they're going to want the speed, better speed, XRP. Cheaper, XRP. Can make money, XRP. Lending, can I make some money with this? XRP. Especially when Flare rolls out F assets and you can earn yield on lending, right? Or maybe there's other ways. I don't know. All these roads lead to XRP. The Ripple can't fool me, but that's just my humble opinion. You could disagree with that if you want. Perfectly fine. All right. So now moving on here, I'm going to get these articles in. I'm trying to move at as good a pace as possible. Once again, I want to say thank you to everybody out there. I didn't have enough mind to read the comments last night, be in the comment section. My apologies, but I want to say I love you all. I hope you're all having peace. And once again, I'm going to say it again. I love you all. All right. If nobody else is going to tell you, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. If we don't hear that and we don't feel goodness, why do we exist? We exist to give that goodness, to give that love, man. That's how I feel. And I would want it. So I'm going to give it. I hope you're all doing well out there. I hope you're feeling okay, not just physically, but I hope you're feeling okay here. You know what I mean? We go through a lot of things. And if you have traumas in life, which a lot of people do, I hope you're able to overcome them. I hope you're able to have peace. And there's ways to find that. Just know that. Never feel like you can't find peace. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can overcome those things. That's all I'll say about that. But I appreciate every single person out there. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. So now we're going to move on to this article here. This article is titled Top Economist Predicts Crash of a Lifetime, Worse than 2008 Recession. And this is one of the reasons why I don't know if it was in the members only video yesterday or the regular video, but I believe I said something about not trusting the stock market. I don't trust a lot of things right now because a lot of the experts are saying that there's a bubble, right? So now let's read this little tidbit here. It says here, Harry Dent, the outspoken financial author and economist, isn't reversing course from his bold, quote, crash of a lifetime declaration this past December. Speaking in an updated interview with Fox News Digital, Dent cautioned that, quote, everything, unquote, bubble still has not burst, and it may be a bigger crash than the Great Recession. Quote, in 1925 to 1929, it was a natural bubble. There was no stimulus behind that. Artificial stimulus per se. So this is new. This has never happened, unquote. Dent said Tuesday, quote, what do you do if you want to cure a hangover? You drink more. And that's what they've been doing, unquote. I wouldn't know. I would not know that, sir. It says, I personally don't drink. I never drink. A lifelong athlete, so I don't know about all of those types of things like that. It says, quote, flooding the economy with extra money forever might actually enhance the overall economy long term. But we'll only see when we see this bubble burst, unquote, he added. Quote, and again, this bubble has been going 14 years. Instead of most bubbles, 5 or 6. It's been stretched higher, longer, so you'd have to expect a bigger crash than we've got in 2008 and 09. Wow. It says, as markets inch closer to the halfway mark of the year, U.S. stocks ended the month of May with gains as the tech-heavy NASDAQ stole the show, finishing up 6.9%, and the S&P was up 4.8%, and the Dow Jones was up 2.3%. Nearly 2 weeks ago, tech and AI-heavy NVIDIA announced a 10-for-1 stock split, propelling shares past $1,000 3 days later, marking an all-time high. Quote, I think we're going to see S&P go down 86%. Whoa, from top, and the NASDAQ 92%. A hero stock like NVIDIA, as good as it is, and it is a great company, goes down 98%. Boy, this is over, unquote. Dent stressed, quote, we have never seen the government sustain a totally artificial bubble for a decade and a half and see what happens after that, unquote. He continued, quote, but I can tell you there has not been one bubble, and this is far larger and longer. One major bubble in history that has not ended badly, period, unquote. Wow. All right. So that's pretty impactful stuff there. And he came with numbers and facts. That's interesting. I'd be careful out there, folks. All right. So we're getting towards the last 2 articles here. I think we've done a good job so far, and hopefully we inspire some people along the way. I don't know. This article here is titled Cardano on the verge of, quote, most significant, unquote, milestone in its history. All right, what's the significant milestone? But Cardano is a solid project. I'm bullish on it. I have 0 Cardano, but I'm not against getting some Cardano in the future if things are looking real good. I'll be completely honest with you. Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson has touted the network's most significant milestone to date. Will this translate into gains for ADA? I don't know, article writer. You tell me. Cardano, one of the leading proof-of-stake blockchain platforms, is approaching its biggest milestone to date, according to a recent social media post shared by founder Charles Hoskinson. All right. Cardano has now reached the 5th stage of its ambitious roadmap called, quote, Voltaire, unquote. This stage specifically focuses on turning the network itself into a self-sustaining ecosystem. Hoskinson believes that June will be the month that Cardano node, the network's top-level component, reaches 9.0. The Cardano network is already Chong fork ready. And 70% of stake pool operators are now supposed to install the new node. The hard fork will consist of two major upgrades. The first one will prepare the groundwork for initiating decentralized voting as well as governance actions. The second stage will finalize the introduction of various governance features that include treasury withdrawals. All right, so big things are happening with Cardano. It says with Voltaire phase, Cardano is supposed to enhance the level of decentralization and transparency within the ecosystem. Without even a modicum of humility, Hoskinson claims that the Chang hard fork will mark the most significant milestone for, quote, the entire industry, unquote. Wow, that's powerful words. All right, Mr. Hoskinson, you're quite brilliant, and you've done a great job with Cardano, in my humble opinion. So, we'll see how this shakes out. But once again, all along, Cardano, in my humble opinion, has looked solid project, and has I don't know if it remains this way till today, but they've typically had a very strong community in the Cardano community. All right, so now we're moving on here. There should be a little bit of Bitcoin news, I believe. Yes, okay, here we go. So, this article is titled, Arthur Hayes says central banks about to catapult Bitcoin and altcoins to new heights. Here's why. Let's scroll down here. It says BitMEX co-founder Arthur Hayes says that a shift in policy from the central banks is about to boost crypto assets into a new bullish phase. In a new essay, Hayes, now the CIO of crypto investment fund Maelstrom, notes that both the Bank of Canada and the European Central Bank have decided to lower interest rates. And I hope it doesn't backfire on them. I'm looking mostly at the European Central Bank. I'm hoping this doesn't backfire. We shall see. It says Hayes says the moves by Europe and Canada suggest that a global shift in looser monetary policy may be underway and could therefore signal a bump in risk assets once the Federal Reserve in the U.S. follows suit. How is that going to be possible? The United States right now, when they've taken their foot off the gas, inflation went up. Even when they didn't take their foot off the gas, inflation ticked up a little bit. I don't see how they're going to do what Europe and the Bank of Canada are doing. And once again, in my humble opinion, looking at certain data, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. But it looks risky in Europe right now, in my humble opinion. I could be, like I said, I could be wrong, folks. Maybe I'm looking at it and you look at it in a different way. Quote, the June central bank fireworks kicked off this week with the BOC and ECB rate cuts will catapult crypto out of the northern hemispheric summer doldrums. This was not my expected base case. I thought the fireworks would start in August, right around when the Fed hosts its Jackson Hole Symposium. That is typically the venue where abrupt policy changes are announced going into autumn. The trend is clear. Central banks at the margin are starting easing cycles. According to Hayes, the new chapter of monetary policy means it's time to, quote, go long Bitcoin and subsequently, he says, has some bad words for other coins, unquote, says the crypto veteran. Quote, the macro landscape has changed versus my baseline. Therefore, my strategy shall change as well. For the Maelstrom portfolio projects who asked for my opinion on whether to launch their tokens now or later, I say let's effing go. For my excess liquid crypto synthetic dollar cash, aka Athena's USD, USDE, that's earning some. I ain't going into something here. I don't want to really cover this because I don't know what this is. It's an excess liquid crypto synthetic dollar cash. I'm going to leave it at that. So, so Bitcoin is looking bullish to this individual right now. All right. That's the gist of it based on what the central banks of Canada and Europe have done. And I suppose some way that this individual is hoping that United States will follow in their footsteps. I don't know how or why. There's no connection there. United States cannot do what everyone else is doing. They're not in the same position that everyone else is in. So I respectfully disagree with that. See, information like this, when my mind is tired, information like this is very, very easy for me. What is difficult is taking in anything new. This is old information for me. just going by old data and such like that. Just gets stuck into my mind. It's new information. If there's something heavy, then my mind is like, it's taking too long to think about it. But when I'm well rested, oh man, I'm cooking. I'm processing all types of new information. And you're going to get a lot of very in-depth analysis, but if you pay attention closely, right, when I'm in this type of groove here, what I'll do is I'm reading more of the article and just giving a very, very light opinion on it, and then once I'm more well rested and my mind is feeling a little bit more like my normal self, you're going to get much more deeper analysis. I don't know. I'm just bringing a little bit of clarity there if anybody cares. So now, what the heck is my outro? See that? Now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, I appreciate you, and let's get to the money.